Most websites are leaving money on the table, and the worst part, you probably don't even know it. Ads are getting more expensive, SEO traffic is shrinking, but what if we could get more sales, leads, or signups without spending more? Web experimentation helps you unlock your website's full potential by testing what actually works for your visitors instead of guessing. In this video, I will show you what web experimentation really is and why it's so powerful, how to launch your first experiment in minutes without coding, how to build and test different versions of your website, and how to track what's actually working so you can scale what works and drop what doesn't. What if you could boost your website sales without spending a single extra dollar on ads? Most websites leave easy wins on the table. Web experimentation helps you find hidden opportunities by testing different versions of your site. In this first section, we'll break down what web experimentation actually is, why it works, and how small changes can lead to big wins. Your website is probably not performing as well as it could, and you don't need a full redesign to fix that. Instead, you can test small changes like hero section, call to action buttons, headlines, pricing headlines, and see what actually works for your visitors. This is called web experimentation. The most common way to do this is A/B testing. Here you create 2 or more versions of your page and split your traffic evenly. After some time, you can see which version converts better. But there is also a smarter way, which is multi-arm bandit testing. Instead of splitting traffic evenly, the system constantly learns which version performs better and automatically sends more visitors to the winning version, while still testing and adapting as trends change. And trends do change fast. What works today might not work next month, and that's why constant testing is so important. It's not always about huge redesigns. Small adjustments can have a huge impact. We call these micro conversions. Small tweaks that quietly boost your results. And with rising ad costs, shrinking SEO traffic, every bit of extra conversion counts more than ever. The good news, with Strazr, you can run both A/B tests and multi-armed bandit tests without writing a single line of code. You don't need to be a developer to start optimizing. Launching your first experiment is easier than you think. Before you can improve anything, you need to set up your experiment. Here's where you choose how your tests will run. So in this section, we will set up our first experiment and get closer to our goal, which is the best version of our website. So we are now on the Strazr website. I will click in the right top corner dashboard. If you don't have the button, you need to sign in or sign up if you have no account yet. And then Strazr asks me to create a new project because I have no project yet. We will do that by clicking on this button. I will give it a name like test.com. So you can think of a project as a website. So for every website you want to connect to Strazr or want to run some experiments, you need to create an own project. I will click on the create project button, and then Strazr gives me here a short JavaScript snippet, which I need to copy and paste into the head of my website's HTML. You can copy this by simply clicking the container, so it's copied, and then insert into the head tag. It's also described here. I have done this before, so I'll click next. So in the next step, we need to open our website in a new tab. This triggers some events in the background, which then will be processed by the Strazr backend. So I can close this, and I see that some events have arrived at Strazr. I see 1 total event in the last 30 minutes. So everything is working fine. Strazr is processing all the events, so I can click on this project. And now it redirects me right to the experiment wizard because I have no experiment set up yet. I will do that now as previously mentioned. In the first step, we need to choose our experiment type. So there are 2 types, the A/B test and the multi-arm bandit test, like we discussed earlier. For this tutorial, I will choose the multi-arm bandit test and click the continue to setup button. In the next step, I need to define my experiment. So we already chose the type. So we need to give this a name. I want to test the hero section of my landing page. And then in the next input field, I need to input the specific URL of my website. I just created a local website, so it's just working on my personal computer, not in the public internet. And so I need to use this local host. You can use your own URL, like for example, google.com or wherever, but it needs to point to the specific page where your experiment will run. The next input field is the hypothesis, where you can input your hypothesis that you have for this specific experiment. I will just type, I believe something. That's okay for now. You can do this in much more detail. And then I click continue to variants, which leads us to the next step. Tiny tweaks can make a massive difference. Which version will your users love? Now it's time to create different versions of your page. You will experiment with elements like headlines, buttons, descriptions, and so on. In this step, I will show you how to easily build and manage multiple variants that compete for the best performance. So back in the Strazr dashboard, we are now setting up the variants. And for this, I will just click this button, add variant, and it will open up a container where I can define the name of the first variant. I will leave that for now for variant A. This is completely fine for me. And then I can click here the button edit with visual editor. And this opens my website in a new tab with the visual editor. You can see that by hovering over the specific elements of your website, and you will see that you are now able to edit those elements. For example, I could click this text and it will open up an editor window where I can edit the text. I could change the color, I could add some padding, I could change the font size. You're free to make different changes. So in my case, I just wanted to test the hero section. So I will now click on the hero headline and input a new headline, like headline variant A. This is perfectly fine for me. I could now change some colors and so on, but I won't leave that as it is for now. And then I will click apply changes, and then changes saved successfully. This means we could now close the tab and go back to Strazr dashboard. We are not yet finished. We also want to edit this description. We could add description variant E. I hope that you will be much more creative than I am. So for now, for this tutorial, I think it will be okay. So I will also change this call to action. And you see, you could change different things on your website. And then I will also click apply changes. And you see also the things that you changed are marked as modified. So you always see what you changed. And yeah, so I made now some changes to my hero section, those 3 changes. This is perfectly enough for me. I saved everything. Now I can close the tab. Back in Strazr, I see that all changes have been applied. You see it here, like those things. I could also remove the changes by clicking this X button, but I will leave it as it is. And we'll collapse this and we'll create another variant. So I will just name it variant B and then also click the edit with visual editor button. And then again, my website opens in a new tab. I will edit the headline variant B and save this. Added also the description and the call to action. I think it would be a good idea to edit the background a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. It's okay for this tutorial. So changes saved successfully. So we can close the tab, go back to Strazr, and we see that all the changes have been applied. So everything is okay. You could now add some more variants, but I will leave it as it is. And I will now click the continue to goals button, which leads us to the last step. Every experiment needs clear goals. Are you aiming for more signups, higher sales, better engagement? We'll set up measurable goals, track your results, and make sure you're always learning and improving. Back in the dashboard, we will now define our success metrics. And like we discussed, every experiment needs to have a goal. You're free to choose different type of goals. So when should this goal be triggered? And there we have some types, like for example, if the user reaches a specific page, if the user clicks on a specific text, if the user clicks a link, clicks an element, submit a form, scrolls to a percentage. So for example, if the user scrolls like 50% of the landing page, or stays on a page for a specific duration, or we could also set up some custom events. So we are very free to choose from different things. I will choose for this example stays on page for duration. I think 20 seconds is okay. So this means that if the user sees variant A, for example, and the user stays for 20 seconds on the page where this variant was shown, then the goal will be triggered. This means that this variant, so the variant A, will get a reward so that the algorithm knows, okay, this variant is good. We could show it to more users. I will give this a name, like for example, 20-second page. This is okay. And then I will click finish setup. And now it redirected us to the experiment overview. So we see all the variants. We have set up this variant A and variant B. Both are active. We have currently 0 impressions. This is because we just set it up. And if I now visit my website and make a refresh, then I see that variant A has been applied, and we see in the dashboard that we got an impression. And now we see in the dashboard that we got an impression. That's fine. And now if I go back to my website and stay like for 20 seconds on the website, I will also get a conversion. So the algorithm would get a reward for variant A. And if a variant once is assigned to a user, it stays always the same for one user. This is because do not confuse a specific user, because otherwise on every refresh, the variant would change. He could see different things. This would be very confusing for the user. So if a variant is assigned, it will always be the same for a specific user. The next user that comes to the page may see variant A, may also see variant B. The algorithm decides. So this is okay. And we will see in our dashboard when some data arrives and comes in. That's it. Your experiment is live. As visitors come in, Strazr automatically tracks which variant they see, monitors conversions, and shifts traffic toward the better version, while still testing all variants to keep data fresh. And that's how simple it is. If you have any questions, feedback, or feature requests, reach out anytime. Happy optimizing.